Hello there. Today we are going to be looking at early cultures, looking to see how early cultures live their lives and what we have found digging through ancient remains about them. On the left-hand side, scientists study remains. One archaeologist who made important discoveries about prehistory was Mary Leakey. In 1959, she found bones in East Africa that were more than 1.5 million years old. She and her husband, Louis Leakey, believed that the bones belonged to a hominid, an early ancestor of humans. In 1974, anthropologist Donald Johannesson found bones from another early ancestor, and Johannesson named his find Lucy. Tests showed that she lived more than 3 million years ago. And then in 1994, anthropologist Tim White found an even older remains. He believed that the hominid he found may have lived as early as 4.4 million years ago. So when we go down through the middle, which archaeologists found the oldest bones, it would be Tim White. And then how were the Homo erectus, which is going to be these charts on our right, different from the Homo sapiens? Well, Homo sapiens developed language and they used more technology. Now, it's interesting to me, often when I share the idea of what technology is, it's going to be the use of a skill or a tool to meet a practical need. We think of technology obviously as our computers and as our phones, and those are technology, and we think that they have something to do with electricity or speed, but truly it would be no different than the development of a fork back during the time of early development of silverware. That would be a technology. So the use of tools or skills to meet practical needs. The Old Stone Age ran from about 200,000 to about 10,000 BCE. So remember when we talk about that timeline, back in BCE, we are going to be counting down in time. These people were hunters or gatherers, and they used fire and stone tools. Now, hunter-gatherers carried their homes on their backs. They didn't have a permanent home. They often wandered around following the animals. And the fire that they had allowed the people to cook their food for the very first time. And then fire provided them warmth, which was huge. Now, an ancient civilization that we study at this time that was a large hunter-gatherer civilization was Border Cave. And Border Cave was in Zululand, South Africa. Go ahead and try and answer those two questions on the map, and then see if you have them right. You can pause the video if you'd like in order to do that. When we talk about life of the Old Stone Age, we look at this ancient civilization of Border Cave and try and figure out what did they do in order to survive. Well, they created blades which they tied to wooden handles to make small axes. They used caves as shelters, so they'd wander around looking for places to hide inside of. They followed the herds of eland, which are antelope. They had campfires to cook and to light the caves deep inside in the darkness. They used bows and arrows to kill their animals. The plants were all around them. They would eat wild plums, oranges, and starchy plants. And they found a seashell beads deep inside the cave. And they found these beads actually on a baby that was buried. But finding the bead let the archaeologists to know that these people must have been in contact with the coast. Border Cave was not along the coast. So they showed how far they truly traveled. Stone tools. Did you know that the Stone Age people's tools weren't as primitive as we might have think? They made knife blades and arrowheads like this one that's shown below out of volcanic glass called obsidian. Obsidian blades were very sharp, and in fact, they could be 100 times sharper or smoother than the steel blades used for surgery in modern hospitals. Wow. Today, some doctors are going back to using these Stone Age materials. They have found that blades made from obsidian are more precise than modern scalpels. There we go. Some doctors use obsidian blades for delicate surgeries on the face because the stone tools leave nicer looking scars. So a definition of obsidian is a glassy black rock used to make mirrors and razor sharp knives. You might have seen some obsidian before, especially when you study rocks and minerals inside of school. You've seen the black shiny rock of obsidian. Cave paintings. Cave paintings. Thousands of years ago, early people decorated cave walls with paintings like this one. No one knows for sure why people created cave paintings, but many historians think they were related to hunting. Why do you think this cave painting may be connected to hunting? Well, if you look at that picture a little bit closer, you'll have a good idea. What do they show inside that picture, right? Early human migration. This is a map showing how humans migrated and where they went to. And if you follow the arrows, the question they want you to answer is, according to the map, which continent did humans reach last? You should conclude that they reached South America last. Having to travel through all of North America to get to South America, they reached there last. And we're finding, archaeologists are now seeing that the remains that they are finding in South America are much like earlier. They're not as long ago, buried as deep in the ground as compared to other continents. They're closer to the surface. They're in the more recent layers of strata. Adapting to the environment. The Ice Ages. Most scientists believe that about 1.6 million years ago, many places around the world began to experience long periods of freezing weather. These freezing times are called the Ice Ages. Oh, we have a movie about that, right? The Ice Ages ended about 10,000 years ago. During the Ice Ages, huge sheets of ice covered much of the Earth's land. These ice sheets were formed from ocean water, leaving ocean levels lower than they are now. Many areas that are now underwater were dry land then. For example, a narrow body of water now separates Asia and North America. But scientists think that during the Ice Age, the ocean level dropped and exposed a land bridge, a strip of land connecting two continents. Land bridges allowed Stone Age people to migrate around the world. So that note then, the Ice Age ended about 10,000 years ago when the new Ice Age began. And that's where we are going to read the rest of this and then stop. Earth's climates began to warm up, which caused the number of plants and animals on Earth to increase. After the warming trend brought an end to the Ice Age, new plants began to grow in some areas. For example, wild barley and wheat plants started to spread throughout Southwest Asia. Over time, people came to depend on these wild plants for food. They began to settle where these grains grew. People soon learned that they could plant seeds themselves to grow their own crops. Historians call the shift from food gathering to food processing the Neolithic Revolution. Most experts believe that this revolution, or change, first occurred in societies of Southwest Asia. Eventually, people learned to change plants to make them more useful. They planted only the largest grains or the sweetest fruits, and this process of changing plants or animals to make them more useful to humans is called domestication, something we've already studied. Culture, raising crops. What type of plants started to spread all over Southwest Asia? Well, they told you wild barley and wheat plants. And this then shifted our food from food gathering to food producing, which is known as a revolution. Spelled definitely not correct. I'll have to fix that. And that was a dramatic change. Changing plants or animals to make them more dependent or useful for humans is domestication. And that is all we're taking notes on today. When you come to class tomorrow, we'll look at the new Stone Age and how it is different from the old Stone Age. Some of the examples are right here on this slide, as you can tell. See you tomorrow.